Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the tackle?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers lost another close game in Boston on Sunday. They went down 4-3. The Dodgers scored only 5 runs over their last 2 games against the Red Sox. They hope to get their offense back in order tonight in Cincinnati. The Angels beat Seattle 4-1. Mike Trout's 2-run homer gave him 1,000 RBIs during his 15-year career with the Angels. It was a special day Sunday for Japanese baseball fans. Ichiro Suzuki is the first Japanese-born player to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Suzuki was among 5 players inducted in ceremonies in Cooperstown, New York. The right fielder played 14 of his 19 seasons with Seattle. Suzuki, a 10-time All-Star, won 2 batting titles, 10 Gold Gloves, and had 3,089 hits. Suzuki still holds the Major League record for most hits in a season. He had 262 in 2004. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Give people what they want.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
For the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So, go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
He is the Lord of heaven, though he be not far from every one of us. For in him we live, move, and have our being. It's all because of Jesus we're here.
It's the best of Andre Crouch. All 3 hours of our program today. We're working our way to our 3rd hour when his nephew, Kenneth Crouch, joins us live in studio. Dr. West, were you an Andre Crouch fan, sir?
Oh, I'm more than an Andre Crouch fan, brother. His music has enriched my life in a profound manner.
Turn it up, Miles. Turn that up just a little bit. Give me a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
You ought to do something about it. Everybody praise. You should do the same since we are here. Together let's praise his name because of Jesus. We are here. Say it again. Since I am here.
Doc, what is it about gospel music that so resonates not just with black people, but if you're ever in an audience with a bunch of good white folk and Aretha goes to church or anybody else goes to church, they feel that thing, man. They feel it.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it has so much to do with the truth, and the condition of truth is to allow suffering to speak. And when suffering speaks and the response is one of love, then it generates a joy.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening with the music. But I tell you this, though, Brother Tavis, you got to have the only radio show in the history of the species where you can worship, dance in the club, slow dance under the purple light, all during the commercials, man. All during the commercials.
Yeah,
bro.
well.
You got the Dramatics on one hand, you got Andre Crouch on the other, you got Marvin Gaye, you got Frankie Beverly, man.
Yeah.
It's like, Lord have mercy, Tavis.
Well, you and I are simpatico in this. We have eclectic music taste. We have our music tastes are eclectic, and as Andre said earlier, we are not ashamed. We ain't ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ or anything else,
right.
or anything else we've contributed to music in this country. We are not ashamed, and so every chance we get, we gonna push it out there. You may be right. We may be the only program in the country doing it, but that's all right. That's all right. I don't mind being the only one.
But I didn't say in the country. I said in the history of the
species. You
brother.
did say that. I stand corrected. No, you did say that.
All around the world and the history of the world, man.
No, I stand corrected. Speaking of music, I stand accused. I stand accused.
Oh, you got Isaac Hayes. You got a genius named
man.
Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes.
Lord,
I stand accused, man. Let me. This is why I love Cornel West, man. We can do this all day long, man.
I'm glad that Jesus dropped the charges. Case dismissed.
There you go. Now you go at the top. Okay. I like that. The O'Neal twins. The O'Neal twins out of St. Louis. As a matter of fact, Miles, find that song right quick. That just made me do it. There's a song called Jesus Dropped the Charges. Find it right now. Give it to me right quick. It's called Jesus Dropped the Charges, Case Dismissed by the O'Neal twins out of St. Louis. And since Doc went there, I'm just going to play some of that right quick. Why? Because we can.
Oh,
I just said we're not ashamed. You got it, Miles? Turn that up. Y'all check this out, the O'Neal twins. Check this out.
I was guilty of all the charges, doom and disgrace. But Jesus, with His special love, saved me by His grace. He pleaded, and He pleaded. He pleaded my case. I'm so glad that Jesus dropped the charges. Jesus dropped the charges. Now saved through grace and faith. I was guilty for so long. Lived in sin too long. But Jesus, with His special love, reached down with His arms so strong. He picked me up, turned me around, gave me a brand new song. Jesus dropped the charges. Jesus, oh, Jesus. Now to Him I belong. Now to Him I belong.
We'll get to Cornel West when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
And remember some of the things I've done. But Jesus, with His special love, forgave me of every wrong. He put me on the right road, lifted my heavy load. Yeah. Jesus dropped the charges. Jesus dropped the charges. Now I'm free, down in my soul. He dropped the charges. Jesus dropped the charges. Although I was wrong, He dropped the charges. Jesus dropped the charges. Showed me right from wrong. Yeah, He dropped the charges. Jesus dropped the charges.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yeah, yeah. One bite, yeah.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
All right, Doc, we got to have a pact, man. Neither you nor I can mention the name of any other music artist for the next 15 minutes, or we ain't getting no conversation in, man. Don't do it, Doc. Don't do it. Just don't do it, man.
It's hard, brother. I was thinking about Scott, who mentored Donny Hathaway and Angela Winbush and the O'Neill twins out of St. Louis, out of that black church. But no more. But there is a connection. Okay. There is a connection.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
What you and Brother Parker were talking about,
Give it to me. Give it to
me. Because Democratic Party beyond redemption, Republican party so reactionary it can't even speak to any issues of truth and integrity. So the question becomes, what do you do? Well, one of the things you do is recognize that greed and hatred and cowardliness are racially promiscuous. They will lay and lie with anybody, any black person, white person, red person, or whatever. And if greed cuts that deep, if hatred is that chronic and cowardliness is that pervasive, then what do you have other than to call on Jesus?
Mic drop.
Oh, that's for Joyce Smiley. That's for Joyce Smiley and Irene B. West. Yeah. Now, but the point is this, that namely, you're going to have to fortify yourself in order to deal with a world in which there's so much greed, so much hatred, and so much cowardliness in all colors, so that you don't fall into the pit of despair. That's where the music comes in. That's where Jesus comes in. That's where the commitment to something bigger than your ego comes in. And that's the connection between that rich dialogue you have with Brother Christopher Sebastian Parker, distinguished Professor Parker, and yourself in terms of what do we do about a milquetoast, mediocre, feckless, leaderless Democratic Party.
And this is why whenever you hear Dr. Cornel West lecture or speak anywhere, he always weaves in the music. There is no Cornel West address or talk without weaving in the best of black music. And now you understand why. How would you, since you went there, let me follow you, how would you answer that question posed by the New York Times? As America has become more diverse, it has, in fact, become more conservative. They ask why. Well, how would you answer, Doc, the why question?
Namely, that the black brothers especially who opted for Trump, for the most part, were not opting for conservatism. Black people have always had conservative elements in our history. What is conservatism? Conservatism is those who put order over justice, those who put hierarchy over democracy. Well, we got a long history of folk who put order over justice. We got a history of people put hierarchy over democracy. Mm-hmm. But because the white supremacy has been so thick that even a conservative would be over against the status quo. Clarence Thomas would not be a conservative 100 years ago because he got to deal with Jim Crow. And the conservatives who were running the country were very much reinforcing Jim Crow, but so were the liberals too. So what has happened is not so much black men become more conservative, it's just certain elements of conservatism have led them to give up on the Democratic Party, and because they don't opt for other parties, you know, some of us trying to forge third parties, right? We're trying to forge alternatives to a decrepit two-party system. But because they don't take us or my efforts seriously and the other efforts seriously, they say the only other option is to try Trump out. Now, they're going to try Trump out and discover what? He doesn't deliver either. Both of the parties are beyond redemption. Both of the parties tied to big money. Both of the parties really don't care about everyday black people and poor black people. They can't say a word about mass incarceration. They don't say a word about poverty, and neither party, of course, has a mumbling word about this genocide and starvation taking place in Gaza.
We're going to get to that in just a second, I promise you. Since you mentioned Clarence Thomas, I happen to know this because Doc and I are obviously friends and brothers long-standing. But both of us have had the unique experience of running into Clarence Thomas in two different spaces. I ran into him one day when I was meeting, who was I with? Armstrong Williams. I was in Armstrong Williams' office, and Clarence Thomas popped in one day, and there I was staring him dead in his face. As I recall, he walked up to you at an airport one time, Doc?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he walked up to me at the airport and just wanted to talk. I said, oh, my God, there's old brother Clarence. You know, he got a picture of Malcolm X in his office because he comes out of Jim Crow, Georgia, Holy Cross, Yale Law. And I said, oh, we talked. I gave the brother a little hug as a Christian and things. He said, oh, my wife wants to meet you. Oh, well, let me meet your precious wife. So, brother, I know we got some profound disagreements, but let me say hello to my dear sister. And so we chatted, and I told him the same thing I told Alito when I met him with Anahita, my beloved wife. Namely, I said, God bless your family, and you are foes and enemies of mine, but we shall continue to have some kind of connection in terms of dialogue. But when the battlefield hits, we on different sides.
What do you make of the fact that Clarence Thomas has a picture of Malcolm X in his office?
Oh, no, because Clarence is a pessimist. Clarence doesn't believe that America has the capacity to treat black folk right, very much like Malcolm. And therefore, he opted neither with the Democratic Party, but was welcomed by the Republican Party in a very individualistic mode. Individuals who work hard, have personal responsibility, can't make it, let's go with the Republicans. But in the end, he said over and over again, for the masses of black people, America will never deliver. It sounds like Garvey in that sense. And because I fundamentally identify as a Christian coming out of the 25th chapter of Matthew with the masses of black folk, if the masses of black folk go down, I'm going down with them.
Yeah.
Period.
We're going down swinging.
Going down swinging.
That I understand the explanation, but for those who still say that sounds twisted, that Clarence Thomas got a picture of Malcolm X in his office. Does it sound twisted to you?
Well, I think it is, because Malcolm was very much like, Martin and the others. He would always go down with the masses of black people no matter what. He would look to the Republican Party that embraced Clarence and say, you're dealing with gangsters and thugs, Clarence, wake up. So that Malcolm would never go in that direction. But Malcolm does have conservative elements in his project in terms of personal responsibility, in terms of making sure that black people have their own institutional autonomy and not being parasites on any white institution.
Let me pivot now, watching my time. Doc mentioned genocide. I mentioned at the top of the show, I want to get his take on France, what it means. It's a big deal that France has announced it will recognize Palestinian statehood. But before I do that, here's Donald Trump talking about the starvation that's happening right now in Gaza.
Yes, please.
Mr. President, should Israel be doing more to allow food into Gaza?
Say it.
Should Israel be doing more to allow food into Gaza?
What did you say?
Should Israel be doing more to allow food into Gaza?
Well, you know, we gave $60 million 2 weeks ago, and nobody even acknowledged it for food. And it's terrible. You know, you really at least want to have somebody say thank you. No other country gave anything. We gave $60 million 2 weeks ago for food for Gaza. And nobody acknowledged it. Nobody talks about it. And it makes you feel a little bad when you do that and, you know, you have other countries not giving anything. None of the European countries, by the way, gave. I mean, nobody gave but us. And nobody said, gee, thank you very much. And it would be nice to have at least a thank you. And I took a lot of heat. You know, when I do that, a lot of people aren't happy about that because they say, well, why are we doing it and nobody else? But I think we had a humanitarian reason for doing it.
So Donald Trump, Dr. West wants credit for sending $60 million in food. What say you about that and about the starvation that's happening in front of our very eyes?
Yeah, I tell you, Brother Trump is just such a dead-up gangster who's just blind to the reality of the U.S. government providing billions and billions and billions of dollars to facilitate the genocide, to facilitate the ethnic cleansing. Then you're going to drop 60 million as opposed to billions and billions and billions and want to be congratulated and patted on the back. No, Trump, just like Biden, you are a genocide denier. You don't even acknowledge it's a genocide. You're a genocide facilitator because you are facilitating genocide and you're doing a whole lot of gangster-like things at home in terms of attacking these precious children and kidnapping these precious immigrant kids and so forth and so on. So the question becomes not so much Trump because we know we have no expectations of him, but it's the press, it's the fellow citizens. Where are the churches? Where are the mosques? Where are the synagogues? Where are the civil institutions that ought to be highlighting this genocide and starvation? And even France itself acknowledging Palestinian state. Okay, that's a beautiful symbolic act, but France itself has also facilitated the genocide. And in fact, when you see that kind of starvation, you don't acknowledge a Palestinian state. You intervene. You intervene. Get IDF to quit killing people. Get the IDF to quit starving people. And you intervene as a nation or as a EU. That's what we have not seen. And that's true for the Arab countries, too. They dropping stuff out of airplanes when the babies are starving. That's nothing. You should have intervened as nations a long time ago to stop the genocide. But the reality is not enough people care about precious Palestinians, just like not enough people care about precious Jews in the 1930s. And we know not enough people care about the history of black people enslaved and Jim Crow in America for over 250 years, man.
So how would you define then France recognizing Palestinian statehood? Is this a distraction? Not enough? How would you define it? Describe it.
Yeah, beautiful question. Not enough, brother.
Yeah.
Too little, too late, but it is a little.
Yeah.
It is a little.
You mentioned that you were talking earlier in your critique about Democrats, how they are not saying what they ought to be saying in a moment like this. Let me just read what Barack Obama has posted on his social media account, and then you should look it up for yourself, because I want you to go look at what Obama said and then read the comments about what Obama has said, and they are going in on Barack Obama for one particular reason. Let me just read the quote first that Barack Obama, former president, has posted himself. While a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza must involve a return of all hostages and a cessation of Israel's military operations, these news articles he's talking about, underscore the immediate need for action to be taken to prevent the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. So the latter part of his sentence, he's on the good foot. He's on the right side of history, I think, when he talks about the travesty, preventing the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. But he's catching hell for the first part of that statement, while a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza, ... Here again, Doc, people won't call it what it is.
Exactly. But I wouldn't even give him the credit for the latter part either. You know, the crisis of Gaza is genocide. His own party, people he supported, facilitated it. And the travesty of innocent civilians is not just innocent civilians, it's innocent Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
You got to mention who is actually being hated and terrorized and traumatized and murdered and maimed. That's like folks looking at lynching of black people to say, the travesty of innocent civilians. No, mother hucker. That's Jamal and Letitia and Ray Ray and Babe Ruth. That's Roosevelt. That's Johnson. That's people we love to come out of our community, our tradition. Those are not just innocent civilians in the abstract. Those are Palestinians who are being killed. He doesn't even mention Palestinians because he's so tied into the truncated framework in which Palestinians don't count, which runs the Democratic Party, and he himself, just like Biden, just like Harris, just like the U.S. congressman, they got blood on their hands.
What's your sense of how the world community is responding or not responding right now? It seems over the last couple of days there's been some uptick, but again, it took babies being starved to death to get the world's attention. It took babies being starved to death for folks to put enough pressure on Israel for them to allow these airdrops. But just broadly speaking, and finally here, what is your read in this current moment of the way the world community is showing up or not, given the starvation, given the genocide?
So I think 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people will be saying, isn't it something that it took this starvation to put finally on the TV screens, the mainstream U.S. television, when over 25,000 children had already been killed. And there was no serious talk about their plight, let alone calling it what it is, genocide and ethnic cleansing. And so it's just so sad that we refuse to learn the lesson. When they killed our precious Jewish brothers and sisters, we said, never again. Then Israel comes along and says, never again for us, but we will perpetrate a genocide, even though we come from a people who have had genocide committed against us. Mm-hmm. That's a human thing. That's what I mean by greed and hatred being fundamentally human. And if we don't get counter struggles against it with a love, with a justice, with a courage, brother, we going under, and that's why the music is so rich. The black musical tradition is all about what? It's about love. It's about courage. It's about compassion. It's about fortifying yourself in the face of hatred and terror and trauma. Long live the O'Neill twins.
We will play a little bit more of Andre Crouch, speaking of gospel greats, as we work our way to our final hour with Kenneth Crouch, his nephew, who was a master in his own right. We'll have Kenneth Crouch live with us in studio in our third hour, hence our reason for playing some of the best of Andre Crouch all 3 hours today, speaking of the best of the gospel tradition. Doc, as always, sir, delighted to be in dialogue with you. We'll do it again on Thursday, sir.
Love you, brother. Stay strong, man.
Love you, Doc. Thank you for your time. Cornel West, our regular contributor every Monday and Thursday at the top of the second hour. More of Tavis, Smiley when we come forward.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says the U.S. will set up food centers in Gaza, challenging Israel's claim that there's no starvation.
We're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it. You can't fake that.
Speaking in Scotland, President Trump said people in Gaza need food and safety right now and pledged global support for the effort. Starting today, Baltimore City students and kids 12 and under can ride MTA buses, light rail, and subways for free with a student pass. Officials say it'll help with access to jobs, after-school programs, and more. And NBA YoungBoy is backing Donald Trump on his new album, Make America Slime Again. On the track XXX, he raps, "Whatever Trump doing is good for the youngins." Trump pardoned the rapper earlier this year over federal gun charges. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers lost another close game in Boston on Sunday. They went down 4-3. The Dodgers scored only 5 runs over their last 2 games against the Red Sox. They hope to get their offense back in order tonight in Cincinnati. The Angels beat Seattle 4-1. Mike Trout's 2-run homer gave him 1,000 RBIs during his 15-year career with the Angels. It was a special day Sunday for Japanese baseball fans. Ichiro Suzuki is the first Japanese-born player to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Suzuki was among 5 players inducted in ceremonies in Cooperstown, New York. The right fielder played 14 of his 19 seasons with Seattle. Suzuki, a 10-time All-Star, won 2 batting titles, 10 Gold Gloves, and had 3,089 hits. Suzuki still holds the Major League record for most hits in a season. He had 262 in 2004. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
It won't be long. Then we'll be leaving here. It won't be long. We'll be going home.
It's the best of Andre Crouch. All 3 hours of our program, The Gospel Legend. We are celebrating all 3 hours of our show today. His nephew, his amazing and brilliant nephew, talented Kenneth Crouch, joins us live in studio in our 3rd hour today. You don't want to miss that conversation with Kenneth Crouch, nephew of the legend Andre Crouch, today in our final hour. On the back half of this hour, a conversation with Derek Mobley, a 40-something black man with disabilities, who will talk in a moment about AI bias and his class action suit against software vendor Workday, Inc., for alleged discrimination by its hiring algorithm. Before I get to Derek and get the backstory, I want to go right quick to his attorney, Roderick Cooks, to tell me what the lawsuit is about. Once I understand what the lawsuit is about, once you understand it, I read about it, but once you understand what the lawsuit is about, then we'll get the backstory from Derek Mobley. Attorney Cooks, tell me about what this lawsuit alleges, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I want to thank you for having us on.
My pleasure.
We really appreciate it because we want to raise awareness about this issue. The lawsuit is about the use of artificial intelligence and algorithmic screening tools to staff jobs, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Mobley came to us around 2021 or so and expressed to us that he was having significant difficulty in obtaining employment, and that it had been going on since maybe 2017, 2018. And he shared with us that he uses the Workday platform to try to obtain employment by entering in, certain information, race, age.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they ask you whether you have a disability. Sometimes these algorithmic job screening tools ask if will make you take a test, things
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Mr. Mobley noticed after 100, 150 applications is that he got no callbacks, no response, nothing. And so it was strange because he's a college grad, and he can tell you more about his bio, but he's a college grad,
Mm-hmm.
seasoned professional, never had a job, never had a problem getting a job before. And what he discovered, and what we discovered through investigation, is that he was not alone, that these algorithmic or AI-driven job screening tools have been used or adopted now by the majority of the Fortune 500, and they use it to staff jobs. Well, what we've been seeing since we filed the case and since we've been litigating it, we've been hearing from people from LinkedIn and all other kind of job platforms that folks over the age of 40, racial minorities, women, and people with disabilities cannot get past the front door of these AI-driven employment systems.
I was just about to ask. It sounds like you've answered the question I wanted to ask. So it's not just disability. I heard you say gender, race, and age. So this algorithm is screening. This algorithm is screening out all of that.
Yes, sir. We believe so, because Mr. Mobley's case challenges the algorithmic screening process on the basis of race, age, and disability.
Okay. I appreciate that, Attorney Cooks. It's good to start the conversation, at least understanding what the lawsuit alleges, what the lawsuit is about. Now I want to hear from Derek Mobley about his personal story. Derek, how are you, sir?
Doing great. How are you today?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I'm doing well and delighted to have you on and to be in conversation with you. Okay, tell me, your attorney, Mr. Cooks, has given us what the story, what the lawsuit alleges. Tell me about your personal experience with Workday Inc.
Well, after 2017, during 2017, I was laid off from an IT position, and it led to 2 years approximately of unemployment. So in essence, I was trying to get by with odd end jobs and driving for Uber, just anything I could think of, sometimes working 2 part-time jobs to comprise of 1 full-time job. And of course, none of these positions really paid, very good money. So in essence, of course, like most people who get separated from a company, they go ahead and start applying for jobs, right? And of course, we no longer knock on doors. We no longer go from business to business. We no longer mail resumes. Everything's online. We go online, and I applied to hundreds of companies, dozens and dozens of companies over that 2-year period. Really, it was like 2.5 years. And in essence, I began to notice that a lot of the companies were utilizing the same platform, or it was a Workday moniker on the platform, or usually something to identify it being a Workday or associated Workday. Usually it was a Workday URL, or might say, ABC company at workday.com, just some kind of brand. They're very good at branding. They definitely let you know you're working with Workday. But at the end of the day, you go through the process of doing these applications, submitting resumes, and you have to basically create a new platform, a new creative log on or user ID every time that you go on to any individual company that you go with, even though it's still on the Workday platform. And what was happening was I noticed that every single one was a decline. I mean a flat out refusal. Historically, I would at least get some type of preliminary callback, a pre-screening opportunity with maybe an HR specialist, things along those lines, an interview to speak with someone at a company. Did not happen. I was a statistics, I studied statistics in college. And in essence, one of the things that we learned, not professionally, and it just didn't make sense statistically that every single Workday associated application, I had a declination. It was a 0% success rate. So things really started to click when I was getting emails at random times of day, random times of the week, sometimes on weekends and wee hours in the morning. It just didn't make sense to me. And when I started seeing more and more at odd hours, I began to realize I think this is related to a server. Somehow, something that is computer driven that is driving this declination process. And the fact that I went across all platforms, all different companies, all across geographical areas, how is it that for some reason the answer is always no?
What I'm curious, speaking of the answer, what question are they asking you on these forms that coerces you or forces you to acknowledge whatever disability you have?
Well, at the end of every application, you have those voluntary submission forms. Where I ask you if you have a disability, ask you your ethnicity, demographic information. We've all seen those, right? Right. So in essence, I used to always complete those, obviously. And then over time, when I realized I was having success, and then I started getting these little tidbits from social media about, oh, try this or try that. And then one person mentioned, oh, well, I started selecting that I was Caucasian, and I started getting, phone calls or, return calls. I even tried that. I'll put on I'm white, like, hey, what I have to lose, right? And it still didn't work. I would sometimes indicate my disability, sometimes I wouldn't. So I really tried every single combination, and nothing seemed to have an impact, and the answer was always the same.
All right, there's the backstory to what the lawsuit is all about and the personal experience of Derek Mobley. I've got a few more questions now that we understand what we're working with. You're listening to Derek Mobley and his attorney, Roderick Cooks, on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening.
Charitable listening.
It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Hey man, hey, what's up? What's that station you listening to? Oh man, you don't know? That's Talk Radio, KBLA 1580 AM. Check it out. 1580 KBLA AM. 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're celebrating our 4th anniversary, and this track right here is the gift one of our devoted listeners presented to us.
Where you get some information, get a true education, just to know. Ooh, yeah. 1580.
How cool is that? Having a member of our KBLA delegation write us a song. Stop it! Our listeners love us, and there ain't nothing we can do about it. Wouldn't want to. Thanks to Cardell and everybody else for turning on KBLA Talk 1580. We love you right black.
KBLA 1580 Talk Radio. Enlighten me. Ooh, KBLA 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive. KBLA.
And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Tavis Smiley and Derek Mobley and his attorney, Roderick Cooks. Derek Mobley is a 40-something black man with a disability, and we are talking in this half hour about AI bias and his class action lawsuit against software vendor Workday, Inc. for alleged discrimination in its hiring algorithm. And his attorney said moments ago that they've discovered it's not just about disability, race, age, gender. This software vendor Workday, Inc., which is used by many of the Fortune 400 companies, are using this vendor Workday, Inc. So the bias is widespread. Put another way, AI bias is pervasive, we are told, in recruitment and hiring tools, hence this class action lawsuit. I want to go back to Attorney Cooks for just a quick second here. Donald Trump, of course, has gotten in on this act. He is targeting what he calls woke AI. He even signed an executive order about this particular issue. Let me read the first paragraph of the executive order. Artificial intelligence will play a critical role in how Americans of all ages learn new skills, consume information, and navigate their daily lives. Americans will require reliable outputs from AI, but when ideological biases or social agendas are built into AI models, they can distort the quality and accuracy of the output. One of the most pervasive and destructive of these ideologies is so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion. In the AI context, DEI includes the suppression or distortion of factual information about race or sex, manipulation of racial or sexual representation in model outputs, incorporation of concepts that slow down, Tavis. Incorporation of concepts like critical race theory, transgenderism, unconscious bias, intersectionality, and systemic racism and discrimination on the basis of race or sex. DEI displaces the commitment to truth in favor of preferred outcomes, and as recent history illustrates, poses an existential threat to reliable AI. So here you are with a lawsuit about the way this algorithm discriminates against people based on age, race, gender, and disability. But the president is saying that we don't want no woke AI, Attorney Cooks.
Right. Well, first, our lawsuit is race, age, and disability. Just wanted to correct that. We don't have a gender claim in
Sure. I got it.
in the plea. But that's interesting. The Biden administration issued an executive order, and it encompassed the EEOC, where it said the exact opposite.
Exactly.
It said that, and this is true. This is no secret. There's hardly any African American, number one, participation in tech. We know that, right? And there are STEM programs all around the country to encourage African Americans to engage in tech, but we just lag far behind. So the creators of AI, the creators of the coders, they're not diverse at all.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have 3% of African Americans in tech. So where would these woke concepts and DEI, where would it come from?
Exactly.
Number two, the way this works in Silicon Valley is they don't hire African Americans for these positions. They don't recruit at Tuskegee. Tuskegee has great engineers, great programs all through the South. FAMU, these type schools. Mm-hmm. So we don't even have a presence out there in Silicon Valley to manipulate or skew any AI to our favor, right?
Yeah.
So I think the executive order that you just spoke of, I don't know what it's chasing, but it's not chasing this.
Yeah,
or what it's for, but it's not for this.
Yeah.
And our case makes clear, at least in Mr. Mobley's case, and what we're trying to challenge, is that this is hurting a lot of people across a lot of cross sections of America. It's just not black and white. It's, everybody gets old. Black, white, Asian, whatever, everybody gets old. Yeah. So we're just challenging a system that we believe, or it's our theory, that doesn't have the proper guardrails to take up for the bias that may be baked into the system.
No, I get it. Donald Trump is famous and fond of creating solutions that are chasing problems. So think about that. Solutions chasing real problems. I digress on that for now. We'll give the last word to Derek Mobley when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward?
Because he's not going back.
And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Derek Mobley and his attorney Roderick Cooks. Kenneth Crouch is in the building. He's look at him. I'm looking at him right now, setting up his keyboard in the studio. A nephew of Andre. We've been celebrating Andre Crouch all 3 hours today. We'll talk to Kenneth, a master in his own right, in just a moment. Derek, I got 2.5 minutes left. I want to give it all to you, since this is all about you and so many others who are being discriminated across the country by this hiring algorithm known as Workday Inc. Tell me what you hope to come, what you want to come out of this class action lawsuit, sir.
Well, what I'd like to come out of this class action lawsuit is a understanding as what is potentially happening here, and I think that word needs to get out. A lot of people have been feeling it, they've experienced it, but they just really haven't taken the next step that I've decided to take. And this was, hard situation to really kind of bring and present to my attorneys. They didn't immediately take this case. I had to really present a case for it. And, and as a graduate of Morehouse College, I'm not accustomed to every door being slammed in my face. At the end of the day, a lot of very qualified HBCU people out there, or anyone that has something on their resume that may indicate their race or their, background, that it can potentially be used against you in these automated systems. And I'm just hoping that it'll be some transparency, especially from Workday, to understand, or at least show us how the algorithm works. And if not, at least prove that it's transparent and that their audits are valid and it doesn't discriminate, that there is no real inherent issue. And in essence, the issue is not Workday itself, it's the tool that's being provided to the companies that can utilize this tool to discriminate.
And what have you learned about what's referred to as VSI? You referenced it earlier, voluntary self-identification. What have you learned about that? What advice would you give to others about how they approach voluntary self-identification, filling out these forms?
Personally, I would just avoid it altogether. It's voluntary. It's not required. In the past, there was a time when we had strong affirmative action that it might have helped you as far as getting your foot in the door of a formerly closed door to us. But as of now, and the way the current climate is, it doesn't help. At the end of the day, it's all about getting through these ATS systems and really understanding how is it that these process select people in terms of candidates.
We will check in with Derek Mobley and Roderick Cooks down the road to see how this case is coming along. A judge has, in fact, certified the class action lawsuit. That's a step in the right direction. It's been certified by a judge. We'll tap in here and there to see how this lawsuit is moving forward. Once again, it's called Workday, Inc. That's the name of the company, the software vendor that's being used by so many of these companies. They are now up against the wall for alleged discrimination in its hiring algorithm. Age, race, gender, and discrimination. People are being impacted by it across the board. Thank you for coming on the program, Derek. All the best to you. Thank you, Counselor. Thank you for your time as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Good to have you both on. Kenneth Crouch for the hour when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says the U.S. will set up food centers in Gaza challenging Israel's